Good evening and thanks for joining us on Nationwide Today. I am Elizabeth Omori. The leadership of the Senate and the House of Representatives are unanimous in their call on the federal government to focus on completion of legacy projects in 2023. This was when President Muhammadu Buhari submitted a 2023 draft budget for consideration and approval during a joint session of the National Assembly. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali reports.
It is the last budget of the Buhari administration submitted to the last joint session of the 9th National Assembly. What was poignant at this historic moment is the promise by the leadership of the 9th National Assembly of sustaining the January to December budget cycle by early passage, an action that has become a trademark of the 9th Assembly since Nigeria's return to democracy. Beyond the formalities of efficiency, the President of the Senate and Speaker House of Representatives struck a chord when they mentioned oil theft and its devastation to the economy.
The large-scale and massive stealing of our oil is concerning, as this reduces drastically the revenues available to the government. Projections have put our losses from this melee at between 700,000 to 900,000 barrels of crude oil per day, leading to about 29 to 35% losses in oil revenue in the first quarter of 2022. This represents an estimated total fall from 1.1 trillion naira recorded in the last quarter of 2021 to 790 billion naira in the first quarter of this year.
Arising from the reports of a massive decline in the volume of crude oil exports due primarily to theft and diversion by criminal elements. It is the sense of the House of Representatives that those engaged in these activities are agents of economic sabotage, determined to bring our country to its knees. Therefore, our position is that their actions constitute treason against our country, for which they and their enablers, whoever they may be, must be held accountable to the fullest extent permitted by law.
They also shared in the vision of the current administration in its drive for reform in key sectors of the economy to improve service delivery to the people.
Pushing for concerted efforts toward ridding our nation of criminals, the National Assembly will continue to support the executive arm of government in finding permanent solutions to insecurity in our country. Let me, at this point, commend our defense and security forces for working harder. There is still some work to be done, though.
We are once more reminded of the finite nature of public service and the obligation to make the most of our time to deliver on our promises to the Nigerian people. It is often said that it's not how well you start, but how strong you finish.
The Senate and House of Representatives will, in the next couple of days, commence consideration of the 2023 budget of sustainability and transition, meant to lay solid foundation for incoming administration. From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
A 20.51 trillion naira budget for fiscal sustainability and transition is proposed for expenditure by the federal government for its services in 2023 fiscal year. The budget, which is the last by the Buhari presidency, is designed to maintain fiscal viability, address critical issues of concern, and lay a solid foundation for the next administration. President Muhammadu Buhari, who presented the appropriations bill before a joint session of the National Assembly, assured the nation of his unshakable commitment to leaving a legacy of peaceful, prosperous, and secured Nigeria. More details will come on the approval. Now, joining us in the studio to discuss some of the issues raised is the Chairman, House Committee on Media and Public Affairs, Benjamin Okeze-Kalu. Thank you so much for joining us, Mr. Benjamin, on the news.
Thank you for having me.
All right, there's actually an increase of 3 trillion naira from the 2022 budget. How would you describe this increment? Is it favorable?
As you know, first of all, let me say that the House is happy that the executives, in their cooperation with the House and vice versa, will be able to sustain this to become a tradition that the budget calendar, as allowed by the Constitution, to run from January to December has been achieved. Many didn't believe that we'll be able to achieve it in this administration back to back. And we've been able to do that from the first year to this fourth year. It's something that we all need to celebrate because it has come to stay. On the issues raised in the budget, which is a product of the MTAF that was recommended, presented to the House, and also recommendations that came through the House. We are going to do an history of what have been presented today by Mr. President to see if they are in line with the MTAF and if there's any discrepancy, to what extent. And the 3 trillion you're talking about must reflect the current economic realities of our country, the challenges that we have, what we want to take care of. So that is the duty of the Parliament to make sure that whatever proposal, it's a proposal, it's a draft.
Of course.
We have to cross the T's and dot the I's by looking at the justifications behind them. So the ball now is passed to the MDAs, the head of the MDAs, to come. Granted, you have made the proposal before the Parliament. You need to be not conceding that everything you put in there is going to fly through. Convince the Parliament that we are going to stay with this 20.51 trillion. If yes, we will go with you. If we are not convinced, there will be an adjustment, either upwardly or downwardly. But whatever be the case, the budget is not going to go back to Mr. President the way it came. It must reflect the economic realities that we are faced with at the moment.
All right, Mr. President actually said the 2023 budget will focus more on ongoing projects. What's your take and assessment?
I think
that?
For now, without even waiting for them to do their budget defense and for us to know what they have done with what we appropriated last year, the idea of sustaining what have been placed by the former budget, which is 2022, the ongoing budget projects, for them to be sustainable, they need to. It's a good idea because if every year we come up with new projects, the old ones are abandoned. I don't think it's a sustainable national development strategy. So those ones that have been identified by this administration that is in line with national development policy, agenda, plan of the government that are not finished, it is expected that this budget should help them to be rounded up. I think the Parliament will be in support of that by the time we are listening to their presentation, that what was started by this administration should be finished with this budget.
Yeah. All right, there's actually an observation that subsidy is not sustainable. What's the way forward on this?
Yeah,
because most Nigerians are actually concerned about subsidy.
I must tell you that this government is very sensitive to the yearning of the people of Nigeria, and granted that there is a need for government to help out in cushioning the cost of this product, but not considering again that it should be done to the detriment of other areas that need this fund. We cannot also remove subsidy just all at once. And that was why when we had an interactive section with the Minister of Finance, for me, I was very impressed with our analysis on why this current administration will be looking at a phase system of the removal of subsidy. And if you look at the budget, you'll be seeing the budget is going for 1.7 trillion naira for subsidy, which will last up till June of next year, which is half of the annual budget, before we will make provision for the entire year. But this one, there's a little cut to make sure that that money is now diverted to our deficit, which is about 11 point something trillion that need to be taken care of. So it's a good step they have taken, but we will still x-ray it when they come for their presentation to understand more in detail. But I think there is this political will to gradually, because if you eliminate it, you will create a monster that will affect Nigerians so badly, especially with other biting contentious issues around the world now, the impact of COVID that we're still recovering from. If you eliminate subsidies fully, the impact is going to be massive. So I think it is strategic in our nation building to, even if we want to remove it, do it in phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. I'm sure there will be another analysis at the end of 6 months for us to know how far we have done with what we provided. And also I want to mention that the House, in the wisdom of the leadership of the House, have created an ad hoc committee that is looking at the regime of the subsidy from when it started till now. And the purpose of doing that is to find out if there are gaps in the administration of the subsidy that has created room for losses as allowed by Section 88 and 89 of the Constitution, that we are equipped to look at the leakages in government and see how we can block that. So we are busy doing that now. And at the end, there are proposals or recommendations that's going to be made in the House that even this money provided for subsidy is not going to be free for all. It has to be applied according to our recommendation.
According to the recommendations, we await the presentations and recommendations.
Yes.
Benjamin Okeze-Kalu, Head Chairman, House Committee, Media and Public Affairs.
Yes.
Thank you so much for your contribution.
Thank you very much for having me. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We now move to the courts. The Court of Appeals sitting in Abuja has ordered striking members of the Academic Staff Union of Universities to resume work immediately. The three-man panel of justices headed by Justice Barka Harman gave the order in Abuja while ruling on the 2 applications of ASUU brought before the court. Delia Tumi of our Judiciary desk reports.
In this matter, the Academic Staff Union of Universities is the appellant, while the federal government and one other are the respondents. ASUU, through its counsel, Femi Falana, SAN, has approached the Court of Appeal with 2 applications. The first was the stay of execution of the ruling of the National Industrial Court of Nigeria, which ordered ASUU members to resume academic work pending the determination of the substantive suit brought against it by the federal government. The second application of ASUU is the leave of court to appeal the interlocutory ruling of the National Industrial Court in Abuja, which ordered the immediate resumption of work by ASUU members in line with Section 243 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, as amended. On its part, the federal government and one other, through its counsel, James Igwe, SAN, opposed the 2 applications, pointing the attention of the appellate court to the fact that the supposed appellant, which is ASUU, is in disobedience of the subsisting court order. It is praying the court to appeal. The federal government council formulated 3 issues for the court to determine. James Igwe, SAN, drew the attention of the court to the fact that the industrial court order made since 21st September 2022 has not been obeyed by the lecturers till date. He also opposed the decision of ASUU to jettison stay of execution of the industrial court order, adding that both parties have already joined issues. In a unanimous ruling, the 3-man panel of justices led by Justice Barka Ahmad granted the prayer of ASUU by striking out its stay of execution. However, the court frowned at the manner where litigants disobey court orders. It ordered members of the Academic Staff Union of Universities to resume immediately. Their resumption of work is a condition precedent for ASUU to appeal the ruling of the National Industrial Court.
The Honorable Court agreed with our submission. So the Honorable Court granted them a conditional leave to appeal, provided today they must obey the order of the National Industrial Court.
In all, we will advise our clients appropriately, and the right thing will be done, I can assure you.
ASUU has 7 days to file its appeal at the National Industrial Court, which will transmit it to the Court of Appeal. In Abuja, Dele Atumbi, NTA News.
With the registration of 2 academic unions, the National Association of Medical and Dental Academics, NAMDA, and the Congress of Nigerian University Academics, CONUA, by the federal government, concerned citizens in Calabar have expressed mixed feelings over the development. Maureen Leo Ajomin, a Vox Pop conducted in Calabar, brings the views of the people on this development.
The National Industrial Court on September 21 delivered judgment ordering the university lecturers to suspend their strike action. And while ASUU proceeded to the appeal court, the federal government recently moved on to register two parallel unions in the academic community, the National Association of Medical and Dental Academics, NAMDA, and the Congress of Nigerian University Academics, CONUA. Concerned Nigerians in Calabar have expressed divergent views about this development.
They are not asking for their personal interests. They are asking for what will benefit everybody.
This is an issue that, to me, the federal government should look at squarely and address it. The demands of ASUU, I'm not one of them, but I know it's a straightforward demand.
For the sake of the children, where the federal government have reached and the intervention of the senators and the House of Rep members, they should see how they can strike a balance.
Bringing the new union is a kind of a complication.
Chairman, Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASUU, University of Calabar chapter, also gives insight on the position of ASUU.
If they feel that they are not going to benefit from the struggles of ASUU, we allow them to their consciences.
In Calabar, Maureen Leo Ajom, NTA News.
The High Court of the Federal Capital Territory is bringing its services closer to litigants with the inauguration of a new judicial division in Garki, Abuja. Olabode Arewa, who was at the unveiling, reports that it was an opportunity to discuss current issues in the legal profession.
It has been observed that the presence of a courtroom is an important tool for the dispensation of justice in any society. Therefore, the unveiling of this remodeled court building by the FCT administration is to bring justice closer to the grassroots.
The court shall continue to provide the enabling justice delivery environment in support of the mandate of the Honorable Minister in transforming the FCT into a truly cosmopolitan entity.
We need more of such facilities in order to cater for justice delivery within the closest reach.
One of the ways for solving such problems and to restore order is the creation of new judicial divisions. Judicial divisions enable the courts to function more effectively in accordance with modern necessities and exigencies.
In keeping faith with the overall mandate of promoting speedy justice dispensation, court proceedings in the FCT Judiciary are being automated. But the body of senior advocates of Nigeria did not fail to restate its earlier call for improved emoluments for judicial officers.
The salaries and allowances and emoluments of our judicial officers be increased.
The new facility was established in conjunction with the Garki branch of the Nigeria Bar Association in Abuja. Olabode Arewa, NTA News.
In other news, the federal government has declared Monday, 10th of October 2022 as public holiday to mark this year's Eid-el-Maulud celebration in commemoration of the birth of the Holy Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. In a statement, Minister of Interior Ralph Aregbesola, on behalf of the federal government, congratulates all Muslims, both at home and in the diaspora, for witnessing this year's occasion. He admonishes all Nigerians to imbibe the spirit of love, patience, tolerance, and perseverance, deep spiritual virtues the Holy Prophet exemplified. The minister wishes all Muslims a happy celebration and Nigerians a happy holiday. Meanwhile, President Muhammad Buhari has urged Muslims to practice the noble and shining virtues of the Holy Prophet Muhammad, saying that the best way to honor him is to follow his good examples. In his goodwill message to Muslims on the occasion of Maulud to celebrate the birthday of the Prophet, President Buhari explained that the Prophet became famous for his humility, justice, and fairness. The President called on Nigerians to join government's efforts at eradicating insecurity and corruption, also urging politicians to be temperate in their conduct during this period of electioneering campaign. This is Nationwide on NTA. Let's head to Lagos, where Hingino is standing by with some reports. Hello, Hingino.
Thank you, Lizzie, and welcome to Lagos. Involving traditional leaders in Nigeria's quest to discourage fake and adulterated drugs has been described as key to achieving a healthy society. Annie Daniels reports that this was emphasized by Oba of Lagos, Oba Rilwan Akiolu, when the management of the Lagos State University Teaching Hospital paid homage to the monarch in his palace.
Health is wealth is a popular saying that connotes the importance of good health. In realization of this, people patronize both orthodox and traditional medicines, most times without proper prescription. In spite of dangers inherent in these unhealthy acts, the trend has persisted. This is why some Lagos State traditional leaders and medical experts from the Lagos University Teaching Hospital advocate collaboration between both parties to right the wrongs.
But if you believe that the traditional medicine works for you, patronize it. And if you believe it's the English medicine, go ahead with it. There should be a collaboration between the two parties, because both have its own advantages and disadvantages as well.
We must celebrate what is good about us. Okay? A lot of research works have gone on in that place. And look at a place as the number one center where so many good things have been done and are still being done. So after that celebration, what we should ask is, what can we do better? As a hospital, as a city, as a country. There will be new goals we must set.
With steps like these, there is hope that Nigerians' health will be guaranteed when medical experts harp on dangers inherent in lack of adequate information on application of orthodox and traditional medicines. In Lagos, Annie Daniels, NTA News.
Nigerians who participated in the 2022 Mandela Washington Fellowship in the United States of America have been challenged to work to explore how they can enhance their community service and impact on Nigeria. The Public Affairs Officer, United States Consul General Lagos, gave the charge during a reunion conference in honor of the participants in Lagos.
These are young Nigerians. They participated in the 2022 Mandela Washington Fellowship. They all have one thing in common: to review their experiences during their training in the United States of America. The Public Affairs Officer, U.S. Consulate General Lagos, explained that the program is of great significance in the sense that the fellows get acquainted with U.S. modus operandi in the specific areas they are working on and can develop on their own goals.
The most important thing is that they bring back those skills, that knowledge to Nigeria, and they help play a positive role in Nigeria's economic development.
We are trying to connect them to each other, to other Mandela Washington Fellows across the continent, but also across Nigeria, to create these networks that work together to, support their projects and move Nigeria forward.
56 Nigerians were among the 700 young leaders from sub-Saharan Africa who completed a 6-week intensive academic and leadership program at some of the most prestigious U.S. colleges and universities. The aim is to replicate what they learned back home.
It has actually improved my skill set also when it comes to networking, collaboration, and what I do at Feeding Nigeria also.
Learning how the U.S. has created that environment was key for me. So it gave me that sort of zeal, motivation to come put some of these things into practice.
I learned mostly in U.S. is how to structure NGOs, and that's something I'm already implementing and applying here, and I also learned much about grant writing.
The Mandela Washington Fellowship began in 2014, and the U.S. government has sent nearly 4,000 young African leaders to the U.S. to empower them through academic coursework, leadership training, and networking opportunities. In Lagos, Lynn Lenake, NTA News.
Zenret is standing by in Jos for the next set of reports from that zone. But before then, do not forget to follow this news broadcast live on our website at nta.ng/live and on our other social media handles displayed on your screen for updates.
Weekend File, your Saturday delight, going to places from the obscure to the hinterland and cities. bringing you development stories and perspectives, connecting the people with government and stakeholders on critical issues of our national life.
We are live in Abuja.
It's 9 p.m. every Saturday on the network service of the NTA. Weekend File. You can't afford to miss it.
Good morning, Nigeria. Year after year, they have been informed, educated, and entertained of. When you needed information, knowledge, or an escape.
Generation to generation, the Nigerian broadcasting industry has worked tirelessly to serve you.
And now, this service will finally be recognized.
Right? This November, broadcasters all over Nigeria will gather for the maiden edition of the Nigerian Broadcasting Awards, an award ceremony set to reward hard work and unflinching excellence in the broadcast media. They have served and are still serving. It's time to say thank you. This award is organized by the Broadcasting Organizations of Nigeria, BON. For more details, log on to www.tnawards.ng and follow our social media handles at TNB Awards.
Hope is life. Once you lose hope, you lose life.
Once people get lifted to a certain level, they start feeling godlike.
What would you attribute this backwardness in education to in the North to date?
I feel alive.
What's right is right, what's wrong is wrong.
The program is reflection.
Thanks for staying with us on Nationwide and welcome to JOS. Plateau State Police Command says violent campaigns, use of quasi-security organizations, and other illegalities that contravene the Electoral Act will not be tolerated as political campaigns for 2023 general elections kick off. The State Commissioner of Police, Bartholomew Onyeka, said this during a consultation meeting with political parties, law enforcement agencies, and stakeholders in the state. Ijoma Zemna has more.
The Plateau State Commissioner of Police notes that the command's primary duty is to ensure all electoral activities are conducted without hitches, adding that the police has put in place adequate security arrangements for safety during the electioneering campaigns and elections.
We have also carried out district threat assessments and pre-campaign evaluations and have commenced deployment of our personnel to passive flashpoints and vulnerable areas to prevent lawlessness.
The Administrative Secretary, Independent National Electoral Commission, Plateau State, urges political parties to pay attention to the Code of Conduct and provisions of the Constitution and Electoral Acts so that they will not be found wanting.
Specific recommendations will be made to further enrich our understanding of the security issues in the forthcoming general election.
Stakeholders stressed the need for synergy between security agencies and political parties to address some of the past irregularities for a seamless electoral process that will usher in new leaders in 2023. The key players call for issue-based campaigns as political activities commence. In Jos, Ijoma Ozemena, NTA News.
Engaging local communities in the preservation of local heritage is important in providing a link to the past and support a strong sense of local identity. This was the thrust at an exhibition on conservation and historical research of Kofier Hill Settlement in collaboration with University of Jos. Alisa Batukai Andrew reports.
This exhibition is dedicated to showcasing the outcome of the conservation and historical research of Kofir settlement in Kwampan local government area of Plateau State, which is also in response to the call of educating the youth and engaging local communities in the preservation of the nation's heritage.
Running this project is very significant and key to the university because certain cultural practices will now be resurrected, those that have even gone to extinction.
Able to go out there, carry out this research, talking to the youths and the people of Kofir, educating them on how to take care of their own vernacular architecture, their local architecture, how to sustain it, how to preserve it so it doesn't disappear.
President International Council on Monuments and Sites, Aliu Abdul Fatai, said the project tried to capture and highlight the Kofir community through an in-depth study of its existence to come up with ways of restoring its damaged old buildings.
The best in this project is the inclusive drive, the inclusive nature that this thing was undertaken.
We are now beginning to look to the past to see the possibility of, taking lessons from how our forefathers did it to such an extent that we do not have arrays of sustainability challenges like we have here today.
Goodwill messages came from the representative of the Longqua Chiefdom and other speakers appreciating University of Jos for the Kofir project, which brought the settlement to light. In Jos, Elizabeth Kai Andrew, NTA News.
That's our package from Jos. It's back to Elizabeth in Abuja for more reports on Nationwide.
Thank you, Zenret. The Progressives Hub, a political support group of the All Progressives Congress, has hit the ground running ahead of the campaign with a summit on violence-free elections. Saliu Wanara reports that stakeholders of the forum deliberated on issues that will promote a peaceful electioneering.
If you are arrested, you should go, if it means you go for 10 years or 20 years imprisonment, this is the only way we'll be able to get out of this. Election, like I said, is not war.
Indeed, election is not war. However, increasing the collective desire by all the actors and ensuring the implementation of such admonition become a reality ahead of 2023 elections informed this gathering.
There are several flashpoints in Nigeria's electoral process. These include the political elite are very good at manipulating the people and the electoral process out of greed.
So the first step is everybody involved in the process, electoral process. So that means that we want fair, free, and violence-free election.
If you are a popular candidate, you don't need votes to make you win election. So that is what this very important summit is all about.
So we have to learn how we can go through this election without people dying, without women dying, without young men and women dying.
Elsewhere, friends of the Society for Good Governance said various promises projects by the APC presidential candidate Bola Ahmed Tinubu in the past is an advantage to his ambition.
We have an agenda to help any government that will come to power, but we want a serious government. We want a government that will rule us. We want a government that is for the people, by the people. We want a government that is not for only one part of the country. Do you understand? So for us to have a united government, then we have to think about our own future.
The group advocate politics devoid of ethnic and religious divide. In Abuja, Saliu Gwanara, NTA News.
And all is now set for the official kickoff of the All Progressives Congress presidential campaigns as all grey areas have been sorted out. Director General APC Presidential Campaign Council and Governor of Plateau State Simon Bakolalong confirmed this on Good Morning Nigeria while discussing preparations for APC presidential campaign. Oyeyemi Ajayi tells us more.
Said, I'm going to tell the Director General of the APC Presidential Campaign Council and the members doused concerns over the perceived delay in the commencement of the party's campaigns, attributing it to diligent preparations to make the campaigns all-inclusive.
So our campaign has moved from bottom to top. First, we had to look at the grassroots, that is from the ward. What will be their interest? How active are they going to participate in this campaign? because that is where you do election at the polling unit.
The guest affirmed that the party is committed to the peace accord already signed towards free and fair elections.
What we have is what they call sweet headache. Our own is not crisis, our own is passion. It's not crisis, passion to get in. We are going to create state campaign councils. That list is still coming out. And it's going to be an all-inclusive list.
We do not want violence. Those children are our pride. Those children were given birth to by us. And we must protect them and win an election free and fair.
Right.
Women are all out. Will be the peace, will be the bridge.
While debunking the rumor of the ruling party denying other parties access to media and advert facilities, the guest expressed APC's commitment to ensuring that the 2023 general elections must be devoid of violence. In Abuja, Oyeyemi Ajayi, NTA News.
Still on political matters, the Forum of Elected National Ex-Officio Members of the People's Democratic Party has appealed to aggrieved members of the party to sheath their sword and join hands in ensuring victory in the 2023 general elections. Timothy Yusuf reports.
This is a meeting of the Forum of Elected National Ex-Officio Members of the People's Democratic Party. They met behind closed doors in the Neck Hall of the PDP National Headquarters, Abuja.
We have been confronted with very disturbing and destabilizing scenarios playing out in our party against the plea of our there presidential candidate, His Excellency Atiku Abubakar, that admonished us to be very careful in our utterances, our posturing and body language in presenting to the public the internal issues of our party. The aggravating circumstances being thrown up by conflicting accusation and counter-accusation of who is right and who is wrong, a matter which the Forum of National Ex-Officio feel is not necessary at this electioneering period.
Ilya implored all PDP leaders and members who had one issue or the other to avail themselves of internal differences resolution mechanism as provided for in the party's constitution. Professionals for Atiku is another support group with a plan to deploying the experiences they have acquired over the years towards the victory of the PDP presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar.
This candidate has been tried and tested in public and private office.
Members resolved to make their campaign issue-based. Timothy Yusuf, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the Presidential Campaign Organization of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, has approved the appointment of directors and deputy directors for the National Campaign Management Committee. A statement from the Director General of the Campaign Council and Governor of Sokoto State, Aminu Waziri Tambuwal, notes that some of those on this list of the 17 nominees include former Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives, Mr. Austin Okpara, as Director of Training, Dele Momodu, Director of Strategic Communications, Abdullahi Mebasira, Director of Finance, Professor Iyo Use Ara, Director of Election Management, Dr. Sam Amadi, Director Research and former Minister of Aviation, Osita Chidoka, Director Voter Intelligence and Strategy. The Director General of the committee urges them to show commitment and justify the confidence reposed in them by the leadership of the party. The National Strategic Committee of the People's Democratic Party New Generation has similarly unveiled a National Youth Campaign Council to deliver all PDP's candidates in 2023 general elections. The Campaign Council has Hawa Atiku Weiss as chairperson, Audu Mahmoud as Director General, as well as 6 Zonal Deputy Directors General. Violence before, during and after general elections is becoming a global issue to which Nigeria is not exempted. To forestall recurrence, especially as campaigns increase tempo ahead of the 2023 general elections, the National Orientation Agency has put together a stakeholder summit to mainstream antisocial activities, including unguided utterances that could possibly escalate violence among the populace. Kenneth Nanim reports.
On September 29 this year, political parties signed a peace accord to ensure free, fair and credible elections come 2023. As a build-up on these and to ensure that all remain bound to the peace pact, especially at the grassroots, the National Orientation Agency again engaged the political parties, relevant key players including INEC officials, core members and traditional rulers on the need for peaceful elections.
Without peace, the elections themselves won't hold. Without peace, even when you hold the elections, you won't run the government. We even have the country. And this is what we are all trying to guard against.
Having highlighted the causes of violence, vote buying, thuggery and all other forms of electoral malpractices and their negative impacts, the stakeholders unanimously agree that such trend must stop.
We need to use money to buy people. If you know you are there, you have come out to serve the people. I think by so doing, we are creating more problems for ourselves.
Presently lingering ASUU strike that has kept our children out of school for 8 months creates an enabling environment for violence, especially during elections.
When violence takes place during elections, it triggers, one, revenue loss to the government, loss of resources. Number two, it also dissuades investors.
The summit also underscored the need for a continuous stakeholders dialogue to checkmate the winner-takes-all syndrome. Kenneth Nanim, NTA News.
Similarly, the Ogun State Police Command also organized a stakeholders meeting ahead of the 2023 general elections to engage politicians, candidates and other key players on adherence to the rules of engagement and other laws that govern electoral process. Lekon Agmonde reports.
The convener of the meeting and Ogun State Commissioner of Police, Larry Bankole, says the need for all the key players in the 2023 general elections to go by the rules and organize themselves in a rancor-free manner is crucial to the success of the poll.
The public should partner with the law enforcement agencies in ensuring that electoral campaigns are devoid of rancor. And they will make sure that they are conducted in line with the laws of the land.
Let us all continue to engage ourselves, one another, until we get to the election period. And let us be telling the stakeholders, telling each agency of government that the right thing must be done.
At NTA, we have level playing field for all political parties. And that's why I had to let them know that this campaign has to be issue-based.
The meeting also canvassed issue-based campaigns for the electorate to make good decisions and called on the media to avoid sensationalism, but rather be objective in their reportage. In Abeokuta, Lekon Agmonde, NTA News.
And for more reports on Nationwide, let's join Mohammed in our Maiduguri studio. Hello, Mohammed.
Hello, Elizabeth. Welcome to Maiduguri on Nationwide. Borno State Government is to commence payment of backlog of promotion arrears of civil servants by the end of January 2023. Borno State Governor Professor Babagana Umar Zulum announced this at the swearing-in ceremony of the chairman and members of reconstituted Borno State Civil Service Commission at the Government House, Maiduguri. Mohammed Gwani reports.
First to be sworn in by the State Chief Judge, Justice Kashim Zanna, at a ceremony presided over by Governor Babagana Umara, was the reappointed chairman of the State Civil Service Commission, Dr. Bola Amali Gubiu, followed by the 4 commissioners. Governor Babagana Umara, who congratulated the appointees, expressed confidence in the chairman and commissioners of the reconstituted CAC, whom he described as people of proven integrity and unquestionable character. He maintained that civil service is the pillar upon which all developmental efforts of government depend. Hence, government will not allow the system to suffer.
In our quest to reposition and reinvigorate the Borno State Civil Service in line with our policy objectives and recovery, so the 25-year development framework, 10-year strategic transformation plan, government shall initiate complete computerization of the Commission's record, keeping an actual system to adequately facilitate the Commission to carry out its certain functions.
He stressed needs to reposition the civil service and further directed compilation of comprehensive nominal role of the civil servants in the state and also ordered for compilation of vacancies in all MDAs preparatory to conduct a promotion examination for eligible personnel to be held before the end of this year, which he stressed must be based on available vacancies. Head of Service Barrister Simon Malgui said that CAC and appointment of personnel to serve in the commission are constitutional requirement, hence the swearing-in. Chairman of the CAC, Dr. Bala Mali Gubio, expressed appreciation to the state government for finding them worthy for the task and pledge to live up to expectations, and further call on the civil servants to follow due process in their dealings with the commission, assuring that they are in safe hands. In Maiduguri, Mahmoud Goni.
Nigeria Army 7th Division has completed preparations for the commencement of next phase of counter-insurgency operations to rout remnants of Boko Haram insurgents in the Lake Chad region. General Officer Commanding 7th Division Major General Waidi Shuaibu confirmed Operation Desert Sanity 2 and Lake Sanity 2 are all on course at the presentation of medals to officers and troops of Operation Hardin K, who spent 90 days and excelled in counter-insurgency operations in the northeast, an event held in Maiduguri, the Borno State capital. The report. This prestigious medal presentation is to Nigerian Army senior officers, 8 officers and 168 soldiers who have spent 90 days of unblemished service in counter-insurgency operations, and a recognition of their unwavering commitment to the restoration of peace, security and stability in northeast Nigeria. The medal recipients include parade commanders, color party, sub-guard commanders, number 1 and 2 guards, and RSM 7th Division. General Reviewing Officer, Commander Sector 2 and GOC 7th Division Nigerian Army, Major General Waidi Shuaibu said it is an age-long tradition of recognizing, appreciating and honoring personnel and a show of public love to troops who sacrificed for their fatherland, and congratulated all recipients, adding that the country is proud of them.
Your contributions to peace, progress and development of Nigeria and the Nigerian Army cannot be quantified, neither can it be equated to the medals we are decorating you today with.
The division expressed the Chief of Army Staff's appreciation to all, especially those who lost their lives since the beginning of the counter-insurgency campaign, noting that the division is the backbone of the operation since its establishment in 2013 till date. The GOC urged soldiers to continue to give their ultimate best with dedication and courage, as he promised to deliver the purposeful leadership required to decimate remnants of the insurgency in their area of responsibility. Those are the reports from this zone. Mina in Enugu will be next after the commercial break.
Honorable Minister of Information and Culture, Alhaji Lai Muhammad, welcomes President and heads of government, the UNESCO Director General, Ms. Audrey Azoula, and other UN officials, foreign ministers, ambassadors, international dignitaries, and members of the Federal Executive Council to the UNESCO Global Media and Information Literacy Week 2022 with the theme Nurturing Trust, a Media and Information Literacy Imperative. Date 24th to 31st October 2022. Opening session 24th October 2022 at the Banquet Hall, Presidential Villa, Abuja. Time 3 p.m. The other sessions of the Global Media and Information Literacy Week 2022 will take place at the Transcorp Hilton Hotel. Special guest of honor, His Excellency Muhammadu Buhari GCFR, President, Federal Republic of Nigeria. Mrs. Lydia Shehu Jafia, MNI, Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Information and Culture. Announcer.
A new edition of TV Guide is out, featuring an impeccable personality with purposeful leadership. Alhaji Mohammed Meitakobi, the Executive National President of Road Transport Employers Association of Nigeria.
In 774 local governments, we'll be able to put all our structures in everywhere. I'll be able to bring the Retians members together, reconcile them to come and work for the progress of the association.
Welcome to a world of fun and excitement as we also present an assemblage of professionals in the media space. Some compelling NTA programs, current trends in the fashion world, ICT, sports, entertainment, and lots more. Get a copy at the vendor near you or any NTA station nationwide. TV Guide, your indispensable companion.
Introducing the Nigerian Marketing Awards. Celebrating marketing excellence in Nigeria on Friday, 11 November 2022 at the Eko Convention Center. Visit our website at www.mma-ng.com for more information. Entry closes September 30, 2022.
And a warm welcome to Enugu Network Center. The Federal Commissioner, National Population Commission, AGKSA, has assured Enugu State residents that the 2023 National Census will be fully digital and in accordance with the United Nations recommendations on principles of population and housing census. He was speaking during the Stakeholders Summit held in Enugu. Okechukwu Agobama has the report.
Federal Commissioner re-emphasized that the essence of the summit is to create public awareness on the conduct of the 2023 census, including its imperatives, methodology, timelines, and to promote a robust and informed conversation on the processes and procedures for the census. He said it is also an avenue for clarification and to receive feedback, suggestions on salient issues and concerns related to the conduct of the 2023 population and housing census.
This event marks a major milestone in the journey towards the first ever digital census in Nigeria. It provides us with the unique opportunity to proactively engage the good people of Enugu State and get some positive feedback.
Governor of Enugu State, represented by the Special Advisor on Information, promised adequate security during the conduct of the exercise.
Let us realize that we have grown past the period where ignorance was an issue as an impediment, as much as we have literacy as an issue as an impediment. Cultural difference, religious issues we are also part of the problems we have in census. But today, which problem do we have? Politicization of census.
Some stakeholders in attendance harped on the need to sensitize their people.
If people are not understanding what the government is doing, it will be very difficult for them to cooperate.
The summit attracted people from all walks of life. In Enugu, Okechukwu Agobama, NTA News.
And that's a bit from here. It's back to Elizabeth in Abuja for more on Nationwide.
Thank you, Maina. Next is Sports Updates.
As part of their preparations for the 2022 World Cup in Qatar, the Los Ticos of Costa Rica are set to face the Super Eagles of Nigeria in a friendly match in November. Los Ticos will host the three-time African champions in their capital city, San Jose, on November 9.
We played some top-level friendly games. I must give kudos to the NFF organizing some of these games. And I think one against Costa Rica also will be a big test for coach Jose Pesero. Not too impressed with what I saw against Algeria. I know in the friendly game that was played in the last international window. And I think the Costa Rica will be will be a tougher position for the Super Eagles.
The English Premiership kicks off tomorrow, Saturday afternoon, with Newcastle facing Brentford, Bournemouth tackle Leicester City, Chelsea and Wolves lock horns, while Brighton meet Tottenham. On Sunday, West Ham battles Fulham, while Crystal Palace clash with Leeds United. Premiership giants Arsenal and Liverpool will trade tackles later in the evening. The match between Manchester City and Southampton will be live on NTA Saturday at 2:30 p.m. Still on football, Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike has promised players of Rivers United cash prize of $40,000 each should they overcome their North African counterpart, Wydad Casablanca, to the group stages of 2022-2023 CAF Champions League season. The governor expresses hope that the reward will spur players to go all out for glory. Meanwhile, Esperance FC of Tunisia are in Abuja ahead of their first leg second round CAF Champions League tie against Plateau United, billed for Sunday at the Moshood Abiola National Stadium. The team, which will have their compulsory training Saturday evening, say they are in Nigeria to pick maximum points ahead of the second leg. With sport update, Larry Bileyi, NTA News.
In Sports Update ends nationwide today. Thank you for your time. Do remember to always take action against rape and other vices that negate true values. I'm Elizabeth Omori.
Hours a day, 7 days a week. You can watch NTA International live on your TV